Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are working on this gorgeous little stress ball that you see. Yes, it is a stress ball. I keep forgetting the name of it, but it's a stress ball. In actual fact, it is a ball that my niece's daughter asked me to create for her. And I said to her, that's okay, no problem. So I decided instead of just creating it, why not pop a tutorial here on the channel? All right, so what you will need today for your stress ball is a 10-ply cotton or an Aran weight. You could also get away with using acrylic. I wouldn't use wool because it will, by the time you finish playing with it and the kids play with it and you use it as a stress ball, it will, peel and all the fluff will come off if it's wool, right? You can get away with acrylic, but more likely it's better for you to use a cotton. Now this is Bendigo Woolen Mills cotton. It is a 10-ply, an Aran weight, or a number 4 weight, medium weight overseas, yeah? It calls for a 4.5mm hook or a 5. I used a 4mm hook today, right there, the 4mm. And the reason is, I went the wrong way, hello. The reason is you want it to be nice and tight so your hobby fill doesn't come out, yeah? So, by the way, you will need 5 grams of hobby fill. I used about 4 and a bit. I said in the tutorial that it was 4, but when I reweighed this, I realized that I used that little bit more. I would use 5. I would fill it up with 5 grams or even 4.5 grams. 4 is okay, but I think after a few plays, that's gonna get all squished, yeah? So really 5 grams would do well. You need a pair of scissors. You need 1 sewing needle or darning weaving needle to weave in 2 ends, the beginning and the end. You will need 1 stitch marker. I did use 2 only because I had a bit of a tip towards the end about what to do with your thread. Yeah, 5 grams of this guy right here, and just quickly to let you know that this guy measures 20 centimeters or 8 inches in the round. So you can actually make yours a little smaller if you like, but I think this is the perfect size. It's not just good for the adult size, but also good for your young one as well. All right. So thank you very much for joining us. Without further ado, I'm going to let you get started creating your gorgeous little ball. Good luck, everyone. All right, guys, we're going to start off by making a magic loop at the tail end in front, grabbing your working end, wrap it around your 2 fingers and cross over your tail. Yep. So what you've got is a little X, and let's bring that up. Notice how I'm holding the thread at the back with my, let's show you there. Just holding the thread with the finger there. Just trying to give you a nice close-up of this. A lot of people struggle with the magic loop, but it really is quite simple, yeah? Grabbing your hook, pop it under the front loop and pulling that back loop up and forward. Then what you need, you've got these 2 loops here, you need to just grab them. Don't let go of anything, just grab them, holding it there. That's your loop that you formed. Now you're just going to change hands, like so, and then chain 1, which is yarn over your hook, pull it through to the loop on your hook. Let's get a close up so you can see what I'm doing there. All right, so now you've got that little round bit and you've got your 2 threads on the one side and 1 on the other. You're going to do a single crochet, and that is popping your hook in the space. Still don't let go of your loop, yeah? Yarn over your hook and pull it up and through. And you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through both those loops. And let's give you a close-up. Not a close-up, a further out view. And what you have is that. Just lift up your thread a little bit and grab your stitch marker or a piece of thread or a paper clip or a safety pin, yeah? What you want to do is pop it under those 2 top loops that you see right there. 1 and 2. All right, that is the first stitch that you have in this round. In this particular piece, a piece of thread does work better. All right, and I'll explain that to you later, but I'm still going to use my stitch markers. Now, before you continue, see that little tail, just give it a gentle tug, not too much. We're going to close the center a little bit, so just give it a gentle tug and leave enough space to pop in another 7 more single crochets. And let's do that right now. Right, there's your little center again. You're popping your hook in the center, pull a loop through. Oh, let's get a better close up. How's that? 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your second one. And how you can tell that's a stitch, you've got like a little V looking thing. That's called a stitch. You've got 1 V and 2 V's, so you've got 2 stitches. You need another 6, so you need 8 altogether, okay? So hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And again, hook in, pull through, 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. And again, and I've lost count. Don't you love it? Let's just quickly count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Like that. Right, so what you have is that. Yeah. Now 8 stitches is all you need for this particular pattern. Just lift up your loop for a minute. Hold your piece, and there's your little tail. I want you to give it a big tug, and just like magic, presto, that little center has closed up. That's why they call it the magic loop. It's not really magic, but that's just why they call it. All right, so grab your working end of your yarn and just pulling it through. Let's get a nice close up. And what you have, that little tail end needs to go at the back. Don't cut it, because we need to do something with that at the end. I may have split my yarn here. Oh, no, I didn't. That's okay. No, I did. So what you need to do, we're not slip stitching or doing anything. We are working in the round. You need to put a single crochet in that stitch. I'm going to take out my stitch marker, but your job is to pop your hook in the stitch with your stitch marker and do one of your single crochets in it. So I'm going to take mine out for now. You might need to take yours out as well if you've split it. And even if you haven't, it can get a little awkward here. All right, so just single crochet in that first stitch that you made. Hopefully yours isn't split. Pull the loop through like so and do your single crochet. But I want you to pop your stitch marker in there, because like I said, we're not slip stitching, so we'll never know what number we're up to, and you need to know that very soon. Yeah. In the same stitch, you're putting another single crochet, all in that same space that you are already in. So you're in that space and you can see where you're in. If you give your work a tug, you can see where you are. All right, so in there, a second single crochet goes in that stitch. So you got 2 into the first. You're going to put 2 into your next, 1 and 2, all single crochets again. Yeah. And guess what? That's it. 2 into every stitch until you get to your stitch marker. So 1 and 2. That's the pattern, very simple. 1 and 2. Now, if you're wondering what stitch I'm going into, because it can look a little confusing online, let's just see right there, that little V that you see, I'm popping it through the 2 loops. 1 and 2. Then once I've done that stitch, I go to the very next V, which is right there. 1 and 2. And then I go right into that very next stitch there. We're almost there. 1 and 2. And guess what? There's your stitch marker. That's the last stitch. But if you look carefully, you have another V. So you are doing a single crochet, 2 single crochets in that last V. Just going to lift up my loop for a minute to show you that's what you should have. Now that center is opening up that little tiny bit. We're going to continue to close that, but when we're ready to, not now. We'll just leave it there for now. If you played your cards right and you've done 2 single crochets in each stitch, you should have 16 stitches. How you count is those little V's you see right there. So you are actually in 1 V, which is there, right there, tucked in. Yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and there's your last V, 16. All right. Now, even though we're not slip stitching, we are still counting our stitches, because you will need that count later to close up your ball. Yeah. So in that first stitch, you are popping a single crochet, no slip stitch, plain old single crochet. You can take out that stitch marker and replace it into the stitch that you just did. Now that's your job in every round. Take out the stitch marker and replace it into the new stitch you've done. In the same stitch, we are putting another single crochet. But here's where the pattern changes. Now, if you've done beanies before, it's very similar to beanies. You are jumping right into the very next stitch. Be careful not to miss it, with one single crochet. And in the next stitch, you're putting 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. And that, my dears, is the pattern in the round. 1 into the first, 2 into your next. 1 and 2. 1 into the first and 2 into your next. And how simple is that? Whoops, I just dropped my work. Went to pull some thread and I just dropped the work. And off we go. We're going to do that. I'm going to pop this on fast in a moment and I'll just show you the next 2 stitches and then pop it on fast. 1 into the next and 2 into your next, and off we go, and continuing on. Two, and I have 1 stitch remaining, and that will be my 1 because the next stitch we put 2 in there, didn't we? So your very last stitch would be just 1. Once again, if you played your cards right, you had 16 stitches in the round before. We added 1 in every second, so you should have an extra 8 stitches, yeah? 16 plus 8 is what? 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and the 24th is the stitch, your final stitch. So it all adds up. You need to have the count adding up for this to work, yeah? So in your very next stitch, you are popping a single crochet right in that stitch marker stitch. Do your single crochet like so. Take out your stitch marker, once again replacing it into the stitch that you have just created. It will be the same in every round with that stitch, yeah? And again, you are popping a second single crochet in there. And this time, your increasing is going to be every third stitch. So single in your next one, single in your next one, and then 2 into the third. 1 and 2. 1 into the first, 1 into the second, 2 into your third. 1 and 2. And that's the pattern for this round. 1 into the first, 1 into the second, 2 into your next one. And I'm going to pop this on fast and I will meet you when we get to the last 2 stitches here. And off we go. And here we are 2 stitches away from the center, which is 1 and 2 right there. So 1 into your first, 1 into your second, and what you should do normally would be to put 2 into your next, but we've already got 2 there. Once again, you want to make sure you have the right amount of stitches. Now we had 24 in the last round. We added an extra 8 in this round, so we should have 32. Yeah, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, and 32. So that is all even. Oops. Hello, come on, you can do this, Mary. In your very first stitch, once again, a single crochet. 1. Oops, take out that stitch marker, Don't do a Mary and forget it. Take it out, pop it into the stitch and do a second single crochet in the same stitch. And here's where you can decide whether or not, actually it should have been before on your first stitch, you want to make your ball a little bigger or a little smaller. Now, if you want the measurements that you saw in the promo, then we're going to do this next round together. If you want a smaller one, just take out that stitch marker and do a single crochet row, right? But in the meantime, for the rest of us who are going to do the one that we saw in the promo, let's just continue. That second single crochet should have been in there. I took it undone, but put the 2 in there. Yep. And now we're increasing on every 4th stitch. So we go 1 into the first, 1 into the second, 1 into the third, and you guessed it, 2 into your 4th stitch. 1 and 2. And we're going to do that again. 1 into the first, 1 into your second, 1 into your third, and 2 into your 4th stitch. All right, I'm not going to show you how to do the rest. You know how it goes because you've been doing it in each round. You're doing 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 into the next. 1, 2, 3, 2 into the next. 1, 1, 1, 2 into the next. 1, 1, 1, 2 into the next. When you get to your last 3 stitches here, don't complete them. Wait for me there, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, I asked you to get to your very last 3 stitches in this round. Now if you've completed yours, that's fine, but I'm going to complete the last 3, which is 1, 2, and 3. So in this round, if you calculated your stitches correctly, you should have an extra 8 stitches from your 32, so you should have 40 stitches in this round. Now this is round 5. Now it's really important right now because we're going to start building the walls of our ball. All right, so single crochet into your next stitch like normal, taking out your stitch marker and replacing it into your stitch right there. Okay, so remember we did 5 rounds here. This is a round that you are going to do as a repeat round, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But in the meantime, you're not putting a second single crochet in there. You're just going straight into your next stitch with a single crochet, 1 into your next, and again your next, and again your next. There is no increasing anymore. It's just a single crochet in every stitch in the round until you get to the end. That's it. That is all this round is. Very basic round. So what I want you to do is single crochet in every stitch, get to your very last stitch right here, and I will meet you there once you're done. Alright, so I've done a single crochet in every stitch in the round, and I've come to the very last stitch. You can see the little V right there. I'm going to pop my single crochet in that last stitch. You should still have 40 stitches in this round. Now this is round 6, yeah? You are going to pop a single crochet in the stitch marker stitch like normal, like so. Then grab your stitch marker and replace it into the stitch like normal, and get ready for some instructions. All right, so your job now, super easy, super easy. Remember how we did 1 to 5 rounds of increase rounds, if you will? We are now going to do 5 rounds of single crochets just to build up the walls, yeah? But we've already done 1 round, yeah? So now all we have to do is another 4 rounds of the single crochet rounds, and then when we finish those rounds, we will fill it with the hobby fill, yeah? In the meantime, your job right now, this very second, very easy, is to repeat this round 4 more times. That's it. That is all you need to do now. Head off on your own, do that round right there for 4 more rounds, and I'll meet you back here once you're done. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of our 5th round, and you should still have 40 single crochets in the round. If you've got a little bit more, a little bit less, you've made a mistake, you might need to go back and fix it, which will be really, which will take a while. You could leave it and get away with it. I think if you, it's only like maybe one stitch off. But what we need to do now is we need to sew in this end before we do anything. Now, don't let anyone tell you that that has been crocheted over, it's not going to come undone. That could come undone and your piece will actually come undone, yeah? So thread your needle, yeah? Just turning your work, it should be sitting like that, yeah? Just turning it inside out for a minute, just while you do your weaving in. Yeah, we can turn it back in a minute, and just give it another tug. You can actually see the space, but if you give it another tug, it closes up more. All right, so your job now is to just sew through this. It's going to be really tight because this is cotton. Now, if you're using acrylic or wool, this will be a lot easier, but I'm telling you now, it will be tight. Did you like that? It will be tight. Struggle to get it through, but you keep going through, just being wary you can't see the needle. Doesn't matter too much in this case if it comes out a little bit, but be wary that you won't be able to see that. Best not to, yeah? And you know, you want to keep it looking nice, you want to be gorgeous, and there you go. Listen to me. Oh, this one is really tough. Holy macaroni. Here you go. Do you like that? Macaroni? Yum. You can't keep a mind off food. All right, so that's that. I would actually, you could keep it there and cut it, and yours truly, it's just going to go back in the other direction. Isn't that really hard because I struggle to get it through? And just doing a couple of more stitches. I reckon that's not going to come undone. This is very tight. It's not going to come undone. I would give it a cut right now, this very second. Whoops. Oh, look at that. It's split. All right, and then just pulling it through like so, and you have no more thread. The reason we're doing that now is over the next round or the next 2 rounds, we're going to be putting our hobby fill in there, and it's better to have it out the way. Should have actually done it on the 5th round, but don't tell anyone. To have it out of the way and just moving right along. All right, so I still have one more stitch left. Yeah. Here we go. So I'm going to do I've split my yarn. Look at that. Don't you love it? So I'm going to do a single crochet in that first stitch there. Let's just take out that stitch marker for now and do your normal single crochet. Now, normally we would do 2 single crochets together there, but in this round we're not going to. Just pop your single crochet in it and then your stitch marker in it right there. In your next stitch, you are going to single crochet 2 together. So these 2 stitches here are going to become 1. Now, it's not a tricky stitch, but it's a slow stitch that you need to look at. So you go into the stitch, pull a loop through like normal, and you have 2 loops on your hook. Normally we'd put the yarn over your hook, pull it through, and that's a single crochet. But we want to close these 2 stitches up. So all we're going to do is jump right into the very next stitch, pull a loop through. You now have 3 loops on your hook. Tighten it up a little bit, yarn over your hook, pull through all 3 loops. You have done those 2 stitches together. Yeah. Now you're going to single crochet in the next one, 1, and the next one, 2, and your next one, 3. All right, and then you are single crocheting 2 together again. So into your first stitch, pull a loop through like normal, hold it there. Into the next stitch, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook, single into your next 1, single into the second, single into your third. And I forgot to show you how close to do that stitch, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But we're going to do single crochet 2 together again, into your first stitch, pull a loop through, into your next, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Let's get a close-up. So you singled in there and there together as 1. Your next stitch is there, okay? Being careful not to put your hook back in there by mistake, which can be easily done. Right, so you're missing that area that you've got your 2 stitches through and jumping straight into your next with 1 single crochet. Way too close, isn't it? Sorry guys, but I just wanted to show you that stitch, and 1 into the next, 1 into your next, and that's your 3 singles in a row, and then you do your 2 together again. All right, so 3 singles in a row, 2 together, 3 singles in a row, 2 together. So 1, 2, and 3, and 2 together. All right, so that is basically this round. All right, so what I want you to do is do 3 single crochets in a row, 2 together, 3 in a row, 2 together, 3 in a row, 2 together. When you get here, you'll end up with, it's 1, 2, 3, you'll end up with your 2 together there, and then you'll have 2 stitches left. All right, so just do your last 2 together and wait at the last 2 stitches for me, and I'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, that was your 11th round, by the way, and I've done my last 2 together, and then you should have 2 single crochets left, and you do your 1, 2, and you would have had a third one, which is that one right there, because we did our 2 together here, didn't we? Yeah. So in this round, you should have ended up with 32 stitches in the round. You're welcome to count them now. I'm not going to. But in the next stitch, you're just doing a normal single crochet in that stitch there, taking out your stitch marker, and once again, you're replacing it in the same stitch that you are in. Yeah. Then you're doing a next single crochet, just 1, and in your next stitch you are doing 2 together, 1 and 2 together. You know how to do those now, you're a champion, yeah? And in the next 2 single crochets you do 1 and 1 in the next, and then it's 2 together, 1 into your next and 1 into your next together, like that. Then you single 2, 1 and 2, and then you do your 2 together, 1 and 2, yeah, and then you single 1 and 2, so you go 1 into your next stitch, 1 into your next stitch, 2 into your next, 1 into your next stitch, 1 into your next stitch, 2 into the next 2 stitches there, yeah, 1 into your next stitch, 1 into your next stitch, 2 together, yeah, 1 into the next, 1 into your next, 2 together. One into your next, 1 into your next, and right here you should have 2 left, which will be your 2 together, 1 and 2 together. All right, and that is what you have so far. This is your 12th round, by the way. If you had 32 stitches in the round before, take away 8, that makes it 24. All right, so we're going to do round 13 now. So in this round, you're going to pop a single crochet into that same stitch that you are in, taking, I'll tighten it up a little bit, yeah, taking out your stitch marker, popping it in the same stitch as you've been doing all along, and you are going to do 2 together in the next 2 stitches. So 1 in there, and then into the second, and do your 2 together, and then a single into your next, 2 into the 2 together into your next 2. All right, single into your next, 2 together into your next 2, single into your next, 2 together, single, 2 together, single, 2 together, single, 2 together. Oh, let's do that again. That didn't work. Hello. Come on, you can do this. We're nearly there, Mary. Be brave. 2 together. Single. And in, well, you don't tighten up your stitching, by the way. Yeah. And in your last 2 stitches, you're doing 2 together. Yeah. We now have our 16 stitches in the round. Yeah. What we're going to do now is literally close it up completely. So each of these stitches need to have a 2 together in each 2 stitches. 2 together, 2 together, 2 together, 2 together in this round. So because of that, we need to do a 2 together in the very first stitch. So I'll get a nice close up so you can see this part. And what you need to do, actually, I'm very itchy at the moment, guys, bear with me, right? What you need to do is take out your stitch marker, making sure you don't lose your stitch or your hook, or your hook. And what you need to do here is your first 2 stitches together. You're already in that stitch, so you go 1 in there, pull a loop through like so, and into the next, pull a loop through. You've got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You're going to pop your stitch marker in that stitch right there. Yeah. Then you are already in that stitch, so be careful not to go into it. You're going into not that stitch that you're in, but the very next stitch. And you're going to do a 2 together again. Notice how I'm tightening up the stitch here. Pull the loop through, make sure it's tight here, and into your very next with your 2 together. Now remember before how I said it would be better to have used a thread here. This is where you start getting caught up with your stitch marker. We've got our stitch in there, so we don't want to go into there. We want to go into the very next stitch. Tighten up your thread. Make sure your thread is not loose. Pull it up into your very next stitch. Pull it up and then complete your single crochet. Into your next, being careful not to go into the same stitch that you finished off with. So you're skipping that same stitch that you are in, into your next. It's really closing up, isn't it? But that's good. That's good. All right, so we're in there. We want to go into the next one and into your next one. 2 loops like that. I'm sorry, through 3 loops like that. And now you've got 1 into your next. Oh, tighten it up and into your next, like so. Oh, it's too loose. Let's take that undone. That stitch is really loose. And it will be now because you've got, it's very fiddly here, yeah? Make sure you're not going into the same stitch which you are there. And we want to go into the next one there. And into your next one there. This is the last 4 stitches, so really awkward. All right, last 2 stitches we are here. You might need to hold your ball rather than holding your fingers in there, but literally hold the ball itself. Into the next, pull a loop through, tightening it up a bit, very awkward, but into your next, pull a loop through, tightening it up, yarn over your hook and pull the loop through like so. All right, so now your job here is, that is your 14th round. But we want 15 rounds, don't we? Yeah. So we could either do 2 together in all the stitches, or we could just do a round of single crochet, which I'd like to do because now we actually have 8 stitches in the round. So popping your hook in your first stitch and doing a tight single crochet. Take out your stitch marker and pop it in your stitch that you are in. And single crochet into your next one. Nice tight single crochet. single into your next. Oh, don't lose a stitch. Oh, here we go. Come on, Mary, right at the very end. That's your second one. Actually, it's your third, because that's 1, 2, and 3. Single into your next 4, into your next 5, into your next 6, right there, 7, we're almost there, right to the very end, and 8, right there, and you're done. Now, before you join up and slip stitch and the rest of it, you need to find out whether this is, has enough hobby fill. I'm really thinking I could do with a little bit more. All right, so what I'm going to do is just pop in that little tiny bit more to make it around, by the time I finished, it will probably have been 4 grams. If I can get it in. Come on, you get in the back of the crochet hook. Get in there. Do you like that? Get in there. All right, we can put more in, a little bit more. We still haven't made our 4 grams yet. Oh, don't lose a stitch marker. You don't want to do that. Make sure you've pulled up your loop, otherwise you'll lose that as well. In actual fact, if you want to get real technical, pop a little stitch marker in that loop. That way, if this closes up, it doesn't come undone, yeah? It just sits there like that. It won't go anywhere, which is good. A little bit of trivia there. It's a little tip that I like to pop in most of my tutorials, just to make sure that, if you're new to crochet and you don't want to lose your stitches, come on, Mary, you can do this, get in there, that will be easier for you not to lose stitches, yeah? All right, so, you can decide how much hobby fill you want to put in. That's how much I'm going to put in. I think 4 grams is plenty, yeah, for this one. In the meantime, your job now is to close up your work. All right, you should have had 8 single crochets in the round, and it doesn't matter if you don't. It's a little crooked, it doesn't matter. It's a stress ball. It's there to make you relax, not stress you out, yeah? All right, so now what we're going to, love that, what we're going to do now is slip stitch into the stitch with your stitch marker. So pop your hook in that stitch, pull a loop through, nice and tight, pull it through to the loop on your hook, and pull a loop up as long as you like. Give it enough so that you're going to weave in. It's probably too much anyway, but still, you need to use it to sew up your ball. Gosh, these scissors need to go in the round filing cabinet. Pull your loop through like so, taking out your stitch marker, grabbing your sewing needle. Look what it did. It split the yarn completely. Let's give it another cut. Yes, I think these scissors need to go to scissors heaven. Scissors heaven. It's got to go to scissors heaven. All right, so pop your thread. Oh, I think it's the needle. It might be the sewing, not the needle, the thread. Might be the thread. All right, so grabbing your needle. Now, you can do this any way you like. It doesn't matter. Whichever way your thread is going, that way. I'm pretty sure we're better off going this way. The way we crochet, exactly the same. And what you're doing is you're going into the next hole that you see and out of the next hole. It's actually into the stitch and out of the stitch. But I know I'm going into a lot of the fluff, so I'm going to move it a little bit. So into the stitch and out of the stitch. In and out. Yeah. And pull it through like that for now. Going into your next stitch, where are we? Into the space, that is, of your stitch, and out the space of the other stitch. I hope that helped. And then you're going straight into the very next one, like that. You're just like weaving in and out, yeah? And I'm going to get close up, we're right here, yeah? So we're jumping, literally jumping over the stitch and into the other area, and that's it. I think that's plenty in the round. So what you need to do now is just tighten it up real tight, because we don't want all that kind of showing, yeah? Then all you're doing is going to weave a little bit in to your ball that way. Yeah. Weave a little bit into your ball back through in different section, of course. You don't want it in the same section. The other way, right? And now you want to hide this tail completely. So what are you going to do? You're going to go into the actual ball, right through into the ball and straight through to the other side. Look at that. You're pulling it through that way. Just, get a bit of a squeeze, yeah? And if you want, you can go back in and pulling it through. And don't pull this tight or your ball will pull like that and it won't be a ball anymore, yeah? This is a part where you need to do gently, yeah? And there you go. Guess what? You're done. Seriously, you are done. Now that I'm thinking about it, give it a cut. We probably could have stuffed it a little bit more. And there you go, guys. There's our gorgeous little ball, our stress ball, if you will, something to hold on to and play with when you are feeling a little bit under stress, or even something just to gift to your niece like me. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and do all the wonderful things that you guys always do for me. And don't forget that on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time, that is, we have our lives. And in our Saturday mornings lives, we actually have a thing called Live Antics, where I lay some yarn out on the table and you get to choose the colour combination of our very next project. Once again, thank you for joining us. And all I want to say right now is enjoy your stress ball. Ciao for now.